Are you buying this newfound concern that Harmony Montgomery's mother is selling? It would have been a whole lot more meaningful had the same concerns been expressed 2 years ago when the child disappeared. Hey, and since we're talking disappearing people and unsolved cases, let's go down under and look at the mystery behind Australia's Highway of Death. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Profiling Evil on Court TV. Now, this segment's pretty special because I'm also going to include a case from Australia and a news crew I've been working with over there. I hope that you'll take a moment as we begin and hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure that you're ringing the bell so that you get all of our notifications on other videos as they're released. Now, tonight I had the opportunity to talk with Vinnie Politan on Court TV about Harmony Montgomery, the missing 7-year-old from New Hampshire. Harmony disappeared in October of 2019 at age 5, but nobody mentioned it until just a few days ago. I mean, was there an accident at home? Perhaps an assault that we don't know about? Or could all those ghost stories of human trafficking be the cause of this child's disappearance? Well, for one, I'm having trouble with the finger pointing that's going on in this case. It seems like a whole lot of family members and government officials have some introspection that they need to do. How far did the family go, and did the extended family go far enough for this little girl? Did anyone go far enough for this little girl? Police and family service caseworkers may have dropped the ball when they allowed this child to stay with her father. Perhaps they should have demanded that there was foster care while her parents put their lives in order. Well, tonight, we spoke with one man named Brandon Brooks who donated some of his own money to build the reward that's now reached $100,000 in the case. Vinny asked my thoughts on the reward and how it impacts the case. Listen in here.
Mike King, we profile a lot of these stories, and doing the right thing is a great motivator. But that number, that's a big number.
Yeah, this really should I think inspire somebody that may know something that's been a little bit timid about stepping up. And Brandon, thank you so much. It's sad that the public has to fix something that government just hasn't been able to do, and that's get the reward to a point where people will step up. But here we're 2 years after this kid disappears, and we still don't know anything, and the parents certainly aren't sharing much. We can compliment mom for having the comments that she's made the last couple of days, but holy cow, where's she been for 2 years, Vinny? We went on and explored the timeline that was identified by Harmony's mother. The question remains about why did it take 2 years for her mother to demand answers? Maybe she was. What happened to the evaluations and the certifications that should have gone on when the public assistance money continued to roll in the child's behalf? Listen closely to my exchange with Vinny, because this is an area where I feel the true crime community can really do something helpful.
Mike King, I'm not quite sure and clear on the timeline. I know that she has said many times the last time I saw Harmony was on a FaceTime call in Easter of 2019. But between then and now, I don't know who she's reached out to, and I don't know exactly the nature of the relationship. I know she lost custody, so I don't know what rights she had to see the child, and I don't know if Adam just wasn't returning calls, or I'm just not clear on that. And I think we need clarity on that. And I think investigators would need a lot of clarity on exactly what was going on there.
I'm with you. There is a big window of time there that we don't know anything about. I guess the challenge that comes with this, and the problem that I have, Vinny, is that let's say, okay, that from April till October, until that welfare check is done on the home prior to dad being awarded custody, and I hope I'm getting this right based on what I've learned through media reports. What happened during that time? There clearly would be a social media trail if she was complaining about this on her own personal Facebook account or other places saying, I can't find my daughter, help me. but there's no indication to this point that that was happening. Then somehow there's a breakdown in the police and family services showing up at this home and determining that the child is safe there. We obviously learn later that she wasn't safe there and that there were assault charges that were filed and that are holding dad in jail right now for things that happened in 2018. But then there's a whole another 2 years, 24 months, that again, it would be really interesting to see if some social media starts surfacing. And this is where the true crime community can really do their work, is bringing that stuff to the surface, is if there were those kinds of communications going on. But nothing's popped up that I've seen yet. Then we explored some of the forensic and search warrant activities that are going on in this case. Listen closely to my exchange with Vinny as we share opinions, and I give my opinion on what law enforcement's doing right now.
Mike King, the other thing happening, and we've seen some of those aerial shots from the neighborhood where Harmony was living with Kayla Montgomery, the stepmother, and the father. It's not just Manchester police. You got FBI involved as well here. And I saw that they had some tents set up in the backyard. Looks like they were moving some things around. I know there's some woods close to the backyard as well. Your thoughts about what took place over the course of a couple days out there in Manchester?
I think first and foremost, they have to go to that residence and do a search. And in that search, I think we're going to see a couple of things happening. I suspect that there was some ground penetrating radar to check. We don't know what was happening inside of those tents or below the surface, but those areas need to be checked. They need to look for evidence that might be supportive. It's interesting to hear that perhaps there was some insulation taken. And so what was the reason for that, and where was it, is probably more important to what's going on. The woods presented really interesting problem. I mean, this thing is boiling down to yes, there's this possibility that there could be human trafficking involved, but we also have a criminal charge for assault where the father has allegedly struck the child in the face. And so if that's true, then we know also that there is some propensity for violence in the home. But I think the thing I keep going back to is stepmom even testified, from what I've understood, that the child left before Thanksgiving, that dad was taking the child to her mother's home. And I'm thinking 2 years goes by, if a child was living in my home, associating with my children, was my stepdaughter, I'd be wanting a phone call once in a while. I'd be wondering, where is she? And it just seems like, oh no, we just checked that box. She's now gone. Let's move on with life. And that's troubling.
Unbelievable.
Well, you can catch the entire video at Court TV, and I hope you'll go over there and learn more about this case. It is a perplexing case. For now, let's head down under to Australia and chat about the possibility of a serial killer on the Flinders Highway. I joined the team at the Sunday Project on this investigation, and I think you're going to find this segment to be pretty darn interesting. We're exploring Australia's Flinders Highway in Queensland. Now, if you're geographically challenged, Queensland is in the northeast corner of Australia. This lonely stretch of road is referred to by many as the Highway of Death. Some say it's with good reason, since at least 12 people have mysteriously disappeared or been murdered along the 470-mile-long corridor. Now, you can learn more about these cases by listening to my podcast over at Mapping Evil with Mike King, or scroll through the Mystery of the Flinders Highway story map that's been created. I think you'll find it informational and, frankly, entertaining. Now, let's look at this intro. The thing that became so intriguing about the Flinders Highway is the number of victims that are attributed to that stretch of road.
It's just a perfect area to take someone and make them go missing.
I think there's every possibility that there could be a serial killer up in this area.
The Flinders Highway is an isolated 800-kilometre stretch of road between Mount Isa and Townsville in Queensland's north. Over the last 50 years, 12 people have disappeared or been murdered along the road. It has earned the name the Highway of Death.
The dead and missing include Judith and Susie Mackay, two little girls who vanished from a bus stop in Townsville on their way to school. Then there were two college students, Robin Hoynville Bartram and Anita Cunningham, who disappeared while hitchhiking. Time has passed, and the victim numbers continue to climb in this perplexing case. Now, solving crimes that occur in remote areas is difficult at best, and you want to talk about remote areas, think about the outback in Australia. While some people believe the victims in this area are a target of a serial killer, I had some differing opinions, so let's listen to this portion of the programming.
The Highway of Death has kept its secrets with no one convicted over the last 50 years.
When people disappear in isolated places in Australia and there's no CCTV, there's no tracking, there's no phone data, that leaves law enforcement stumped with very little information to go with other than list them as a missing person, put them on a website and hope that one day someone will come forward with information.
Some believe the murders and disappearances along the highway could be the work of one serial killer. But a former criminal profiler from the US who's been using technology to assist local authorities find clues disagrees.
There are too many inconsistencies in the victims, the victimology, and in the locations where these things occurred and the events surrounding each crime. What I do believe is that there are multiple killers responsible, and that in reality, the Flinders Highway becomes a serial location.
Mike is sharing any new leads with the police, but behind these unsolved cases are loved ones still desperately searching for answers.
Well, that's a whole bunch of stuff to think about this week, folks, and here's where you come in. Go back, think about Harmony Montgomery's case for a minute. Do you think this was an accident, or is this child the victim of human trafficking? The other question I have is who's going to crack first in this case and become state's evidence? And now, what do you think about the murders along the Flinders Highway? Is there a serial killer on the loose? Perhaps multiple serial predators? And how about this? How do you feel about my assessment that this is more about the location than the predators? Could the Flinders Highway be a serial location? I'm going to be looking for your answers down below, and I want to thank you in advance for taking time to submit your thoughts. I love reading your comments. Now remember, you can catch the interview about Harmony Montgomery on Court TV. And I want to thank Vinnie Politan and the entire Court TV team for inviting me to comment on these cases each week. It is a blast. I also want to thank the team at Australia's The Sunday Project, and of course my colleagues over at Esri Australia, especially Kim and Raquel. Now, if you're an Australian resident, you can watch this program in its entirety, so go over and look it up. And please, folks, again, take a moment and hit the like and subscribe button and ring the bell so that you receive all the notifications on our videos. You can find Profiling Evil on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you like podcasts, you can find Profiling Evil on your favorite podcast platform. And by the way, don't forget to check us out on the World Wide Web at profilingevil.com. And if you're looking for an easy way to support our efforts here at Profiling Evil, please consider joining one of our channel memberships. We just released new, lower pricing, including an academy level where you can get special content and one-on-one discussions. Thanks for your support, folks, and we'll see you soon at the next crime scene.